Oh, well, hello, my dear. Hello, my dear. Happy New Year. I'll wait a few minutes. Ah, there's six of you in the bushes. Welcome in, everybody. We're gonna do. I haven't been here for a couple days. Well, a little bit actually. We're gonna do an update today. Hello, Bloodbath. Nice to see you. We're gonna do an update today. It's not my normal time, but my car is under construction. Excuse me. And I had to leave it at my friend's house last night, and drive his home. So, good morning, Ruby for Justice. Hello, how are you? We're gonna cover this morning the sad case. It looks like Camila Mendoza almost. I did a pre-recorded reading. Haven't been here to do lives this last week. My apologies, but I did a pre-recorded and everybody started covering this case and we got some updates. It doesn't look super favorable, regrettably, but I do want to talk about it because there's something. Thank you, Donna. If there's something about this case, about I don't know, have you guys been following this Camila Mendoza almost case? There's something about it that feels off to me. I don't know, man. I mean, shooting yourself in the head is a pretty wild way to go. I don't know. Yeah, you too, Bloodbath. I just it doesn't feel right. So we're gonna go through that. So nice to see you. Missed you, honey. Miss you all. And then we're gonna cover the new case of another girl from Texas missing. And I don't know if you noticed, I'm just gonna upload the thumbnail because they're both Texas cases, and I could be going out on a limb here. I could be very well going on a limb because everybody else is reporting it as a suicide, but I'm not 100% convinced yet because here's the thing with Camilla. They said she went to her car. Like, first, let's look at the thumbnail. I'm just putting it up here. Look at the thumbnail. Uh, these two women look like the same women. Like, they're roughly the same age. They both have their Hispanic background, not surprising given they're from Texas, but it just is weird. Camilla is on the left in the red, and Sydney is in the blue. And they look so similar to me. It just until we hear differently on Camilla, I'm going with what her dad said. Her dad said that the video aw, thank you, Donna, you're so sweet, honey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shoot, we're gonna listen first. Thank you, Donna, sweetie. We're gonna listen first to and I know something feels off, like, we're gonna listen first, to I don't see Terry, but welcome in, Terry. To an update on Camilla. But I just the thing it's just off. Like the picture they show of her at her car and then the one walking down the road don't even look like the same person, number one. And it doesn't look like her. It doesn't feel like her standing in front of her car. And then yesterday, of course, last night at about 4:35 p.m. Eastern, is it Eastern? No, it would have been Central Time, Texas time. They I think it's Central from having been in Austin because I used to go to with Keller Williams International in Austin, Texas all the time. I absolutely love Texas. Love, love, love Texas. Um, it just feels like I know. I agree. Here's the thing. I was intending on coming live. Yes, it's just weird. I was intending on coming live and then my car thing went awry. But it just it seems like where they said, okay, she was missing her driver's license and her car keys under the presumption that that was her in front of her car. And dad comes out and says he doesn't think either of those pictures are of her. And I just there's something about it. It doesn't feel like her. And then when they find the body, there's no mention of the car keys or the driver's license. So where did they go? Like, why are they needing several days to confirm it's her if she had her car keys and driver's license? Terry got the membership. Oh, thank you. Good job. Okay. I just don't see it in here. Um, but I got the 2 streams going. So, anyways, do all the YouTube things. Let's watch. I was gonna put together a video on this Camila Mendoza situation, but we're gonna listen because Grizzly did a great job. We're just gonna listen to a few minutes of what Grizzly put together, and then we're gonna go into the Sydney Marquez because this one's even more concerning in my opinion. And Sylvie's been missing, or Sydney rather, has been missing since December 11th. Um, but I don't know. I really hope this sheriff they don't assume suicide in Camila Mendoza's case because I also when I was starting to say, I thought I saw some duper's delight in the ex-boyfriends. Did y'all see the ex-boyfriends video on the news? There just seemed to be a little smile going on there. I don't want to. I'm just yeah, right now they're saying it's a suicide. I just hope they look at it more closely because it doesn't feel like a suicide. Her family don't feel like she would go into this extent. And I understand the sheriff came out and said, "Hey, we don't know, like when people are not well, and this is true, I know from my own family, mental health issues and suicidal ideation sometimes doesn't present itself like depression, and sometimes it can be the people that you least suspect and go on happily and appear happy. Yeah, I know. I just Lois, nice to see you. I know. And was yes, so we're gonna go into that right now, and then we're gonna cover Sydney Marquez. And I went earlier this morning because my car, as I said, I was there all day yesterday. A friend of mine I've known since I was 14, so for over 40 years, Jim was in a car accident. He had, I think I've talked about him before at the time that he and I were going through crises at the same time as when my dad started, the case of my dad started. And he was being driven, he was the passenger in a car by his girlfriend, and they got in a car accident and she left him to die on the road. Hey, thank you, honey. Oh, you went into this one. Okay. I don't know which one you're in now, but that's totally fine. I think you were in Ruby, I think you were in the cell phone one. Um anyway, so Jim's in a wheelchair, so he was really happy to work on my car. He was paralyzed um from the waist down in this car accident. Yeah, talk about justice. But I know. So let's listen. I just hope they're not too quick to let's just remove this. I'm going to share. I hope they're not too quick to hold on. Where is the damn video that I had? They're not too quick to rule it a suicide because man, it just doesn't seem I don't know. It seems off to me. It seems off and it could just be that I'm just not picking up the right energy with this case, but it just to me, let's just watch what Grizzly did because this is what Grizzly does is kind of where I want to go with this channel. She's amazing. She was one of the first out in true crime, and she truly does an amazing job. And I really want to sort of emulate her channel, if you will. So let's just listen to the first few minutes of this because she does such an eloquent job. Anyways, the reason I'm not sure about tonight's New Year's Eve, if you will, live, which I mentioned yet, is because when we were fixing my brakes, we ran into another problem yesterday, and my car is not drivable, and it's New Year's Eve, of course. We're having a hard time finding parts for my car, if you can imagine. Gotta love Lexus. They like to make it so you have to go to them. So anyways, I don't know if I'll be on tonight. I thought I'd go early because Jim likes to sleep in. She is in horizontal. Okay. And so let's listen to what Grizzly did on this case on Camila. I don't know, man. I don't know. Tell me what you think after you listen to this.
Of 2025, at around 4:45 p.m. in Bexar County, Texas, a body was found near a landscaping company. Shame. And they believe that it is the body of Camila Mendoza Olmos, who had been missing since December 24th of 2025, since around 6:58 a.m.
I'm here to provide latest update on this case. As you know, we've spent the last several days looking for Camila. And the update that we have today is that we just recently, about 4:45, found a body in the field nearby.
This location, this landscaping company's property where that body was found. This place was swarmed by sheriff's deputies units. And at this hour right now, there's only a single deputy here, and he's holding the scene until everybody comes back tomorrow.
I wanted to share this clip with you because many of us have questions, about the ring cam footage, which would be a still image that we've been shown on social media.
Look at this.
There's also a little bit
the image.
Some video clip out there, but it's just got almost like still frames, right? And many of us were confused, like, that doesn't look like it could be Camila.
I didn't think so either. The still photo that they showed in front, thank you, Lois, honey. The still photo that they showed of her in front of her car, it didn't look like her to me. I don't know. It just didn't energetically feel like her. What do I know? Thank you, Donna. I mean, what do I know, right? I'm just saying. And you guys agree. And the father didn't think either of those photos were his daughter. So I don't know. Like I said, the only thing I'm going to say is I really hope they look at this as a possible homicide and don't assume suicide. Now, the gun missing from her home clearly is a big indicator, but that doesn't mean somebody else didn't have access to it at an earlier point in time. How frequently do the parents or the parent of her who claims this gun is missing check their storage of where they store the gun to see, do they check it daily? Do they check it weekly? I mean, I don't know. I'm Canadian. We're not allowed to carry firearms, so I don't really know, but I would suspect if you don't carry with you on a daily basis when you leave the house and it's the holiday period, you're probably not checking in on your firearms. So when did she take it or whoever take it? It's just sad.
And her dad doesn't think so either. Not in the dash cam footage and also not in that ring cam footage. So just have a listen to what his thoughts are on that.
You were at the press conference yesterday with the sheriff. There is new dash cam video. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Oh, it ain't her. She's a thin young lady, 110, weighing 110, and that video looks like the dash cam. Looks like a heavier person, at least 120. I'm a runner. Always ran my life, years, seven months.
The other thing I noticed about these two cases, which is really weird for me, the person, it's just a coincidence, but it's just something to note in future cases. Both the women were not walking on the sidewalk. Neither of them. This person, I don't even know if it's a female jogging, is jogging in the bike lane. And as we go to Sydney, we're going to see the same thing. She's walking on the road. They both left their phones behind at home. They have a similar look. They're both from Texas. It's just, I hope we're not missing something here.
Miles a day. It's not her. You can tell the person running, good at it. He has shorts. I'll see that foot coming. The camera, that ain't her. I'm a thin guy. She was a thin, like.
So both footages that we have, you don't believe either one of her is her. That's your daughter. You would know, right?
I wouldn't know because, maybe she wouldn't. It don't look like her. It's not a good picture.
Right. And then there's not a lot of surveillance video or anything that captured really a good, clear picture that it could be her. This is all possibilities that it could be her.
There's a possibility, but I haven't seen it. It don't look, and I know she's my baby girl. I always got her clothes when she was little. She never put baggy clothes. And, that looks like a heavy person. I said she never wore baggy stuff. She fitted when she started at 14, she started buying all clothes. I give her money. I would give her 200. We'll go to the mall, whatever she wanted. Or to grab her, I'll pick my own clothes. I'm ain't gonna pick.
So what could that mean if that wasn't her at the vehicle at 6:58 a.m. on that ring cam still image that we've seen? Could mean many things. Maybe it was just someone looking in the vehicle. Maybe she had texted someone about her intention, and maybe they came to check on her or the vehicle or at the house, for all we know. We don't know. But when we look at the map time, it's going to make sense as to why there's actually not more surveillance footage of Camila, because we were all wondering, but if she walked from her house, and along that main road that she may have walked on, there would have been so many houses with surveillance footage, and there's just not been much. And that was confusing at first. Now it's all going to make sense. So let's get into the updates.
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised.
So I just want to say this. In the meantime, we were watching this. It looked like a guy in front of the car. It certainly did. I just thought I would Google, because I was under the impression, let's just pause this for a second. I was under the impression that it's not common for teenagers or young women to use guns and firearms. So I just thought I would Google here, how often do young women commit suicide by gun? And it says in the United States, firearm suicide among young women, typically defined as ages 10 to 24, is a growing public health concern, with recent data showing a significant increase in both frequency of the role of firearms as a primary method. Wow. I had no idea. See, this is why, I find every true crime case, there's something to learn, and, which makes us better sleuths and become more aware and informed. So this I was not anticipating. Leading method for women. For the first time in 2020, firearms became the leading method of suicide for women in the United States, surpassing poisoning and suffocation. This trend has continued into 2025. Rising rates, the suicide rate for young women, minors, and young adults has more than doubled over the last 15 years. As of late 2024 and into 2025, approximately 20 out of every million women in the United States die by firearm suicide annually. Among all young people aged 10 to 24, she's 19. More than 3,400 die by firearm suicide each year, an average of 9 per day. While young men account for nearly 90% of these deaths, the rate of firearm suicide among young women is increasing at a faster pace than in previous decades. Well, there we go. We learned something. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, thanks, Donna. Trigger warning. Yes, thank you. It is. It's very gruesome. It's a hard case to get our head around. But let's listen to this for another 10 minutes. So they all take a handful of, yeah. Let's take another 10 minutes at this, and then we're going to go into Sylvia's case.
If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share.
Identification, as well as a cause, and still waiting for positive.
There we go.
Now, I'm going to show you on the map just how close to Camila's home the body was found. And there are a couple of clues that tell us it's highly likely that it is Camila's body, even though the sheriff said they're still waiting for positive identification, as well as a cause and manner of death. Some of the clues include that a firearm was missing from her home, and a firearm was found near the body. And that the body was also found wearing what Camila was last described to be wearing. Shame. This is absolutely devastating. So I will link all of these news clips for you as well, in case you want to check them out. But man, around this time of year, it's just extra difficult, especially for family and friends. She disappeared right before Christmas. And now what is believed to be her body was found right before New Year. So while the whole world is going to be saying Happy New Year, and please know I do wish you a Happy New Year. It's just so sad to think that everybody's going to be, celebrating and saying Happy New Year, and this family is just going to be suffering so much heartbreak and trauma. It's very sad. So if you look, I'm showing you here on Google Earth, and I don't know the exact pinpoint. I can't actually pinpoint this is exactly where the body was found, but it is very close to, as you can see on those clips, where all the police cars are, where the address is described to be, and also there's tall grass in this area, right? So a body was discovered in tall grass. So this is the area where Camila was last seen at 6:58 a.m. on the neighbor's ring cam surveillance. I know that there's still debate, and I also have the same debate. Was that really her at her vehicle on the surveillance footage from the neighbor? Because, it was very blurry, and anyone who enhanced the photo, then it looked more like a male standing there. Either way, it
was already searched, but the police chief, when he came out yesterday and did the news update, which we could listen to, but I really want to focus more on Sydney Marquez right now as we wait to see. This is confirmed to be her. They did search it, but they said there was tall grass, so they came back. But they also said that they discovered her in tall grass near a landscaping company, which is right here. You're going to see now what Grizzly says. Again, I could have put this together, but she does such a phenomenal job. I thought we're only going to listen to the first 15 minutes of her long stream here. But you can see she's going to show you right now. This is where Camila was last seen. There's actually a walkway right from here, right over here. So hence why she may not have been seen on camera if that was her taking her own life.
It had very likely been her, because it was described as her looking for something in the back of a vehicle. Now, I don't know if the firearm was in the back of the vehicle or not.
I heard that.
But if she was looking for something like that.
Okay, so this is so weird because I heard that. I heard that too, that the boyfriend was detained for the 14-year-old, as per Strategic Eyes. I love Strategic Eyes. We haven't listened to him in a while. I know. So how are they connected? How is it the boyfriend of Camila is being investigated in another case, not Sydney, another Texas case? There's something, with somebody following her. I have no idea. I just hope that they look at this as a homicide and not just assume suicide. But we're going to hear soon when we go to cover Sylvie in a second. Or Sydney. I keep calling her Sydney. I know, confusing, two different stories. Sorry, Calm Kitty. There's 4 missing kids in Texas right now. 4. Camila, whose body they think has been found, there's actually 4 kids. And that's why I brought this up at the beginning when I showed you the two women, the thumbnails that we're covering in this, Camila and Sydney. They look like the uncanniness that they both look similar. They have Hispanic backgrounds. They both left their phone behind. They are both, it's just, I hope this is being looked at. That's all I'm going to say for the last time. Not just ruled a suicide quickly. But as we're going to hear when we listen to Brian Etten in one of his interviews in a second here of Sydney Marquez, resources are tight. That's the reality in these cases. Resources are tight. The 14-year-old and ex-boyfriend is a different case, not Camila. No, I know. I get that. But how could they be looking at the boyfriend in another case and not be looking at him in Camila? That's the point. I don't understand that. Like, how did they make the leap that the 14-year-old, it might be connected to Camila's ex-boyfriend and not Camila? Like, it doesn't, that to me is just mind-blowing, right? Like, it's mind-blowing. So I'm just saying, something feels wrong about this case. I don't know. Her energy doesn't give off, I'm going to shoot myself in the head vibes, but I mean, what do I know? I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But Dad, as we just heard, does not feel that either clip that they showed that they thought was her is his daughter. And a parent kind of knows that stuff, you would think, right? Kind of senses. It didn't look like a female body to me, and they certainly didn't look like the same person to me. Or were they wearing the same clothes? But their statement when they first came out was that there was 2 sets of identifying clothes that she could be wearing. And both those pictures show one alternative set of clothes. So it's almost like nobody in the family had a clue what she was wearing, and they went by the Ring camera footage and the 2 Ring camera footages to say one of these 2 could be her. Here's the possibilities of what she's wearing. It doesn't seem like the information on the clothes came from the family, is what that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but it seems like it was based on the Ring camera footage. We got 2 sets of people walking around that time in the neighborhood. We got 2 sets of different clothes, one in front of her car, one on the side of the road. Either one could be her. We don't really know. And father's saying neither one were her, in his opinion. Now we find her body not far away. Well, they haven't determined it's her body, but I want to know. They said she took her driver's license and car keys. How is it that they have not been able to identify it's her? It's been a week. It's not like she would have been that badly decomposed. Sorry to be gruesome. And if she had her car keys and her ID, why do we need to have days before we can confirm it's her? Something's just interestingly off here.
In the back of the vehicle, that would make sense as well, right? Here is where she was last seen. And so this would be in the Caspian Spring area
Tom Kitty.
of Bexar County, Texas.
I agree.
And I'll quickly just put you on the ground here. Hold on one second. So this is all public record. I'm not showing anything that I'm not supposed to be showing. It's all based on news clips and, media standing outside here and her family speaking from here and her car being parked here, which the sheriff's office had shared with us as well, clips and things like that. So
I didn't see that about a car in a pool, lazy journalist. I didn't see that, honey. Yeah, I don't know. The boyfriend to me, like I said, I was going to come on. I've had some car issues, so I haven't been able to be as present. They don't want to jump to the gun. Yeah, a medical examiner would have to do it if they don't want to jump to the gun. It could be potentially they are looking at the boyfriend for this and they don't want to tip him off. We don't really know because, I mean, it's weird that he would come out and say they found a body, but they do obviously have some pretty substantiated evidence that they think that this is her body. But it was on this guy's channel. No way. No way. So it just, maybe they're suspecting the boyfriend and they haven't said it yet. He just had a smirk on his face that I didn't like. It felt kind of Daniel Martel-like, a little Duper's delight-ish, if you will. I did not feel good about his little smile in his interview. So we'll have to see. And who broke up with who, right?
That's a YouTube
disclaimer.
We don't know. Now, her car was parked here, and I think the neighbor's camera that caught, the car on camera here and a person standing there, I think it would be either this house or this house here. You see, I think that's a camera right there, isn't it? Yes, and here. Let's see where this one points. I can't really make out right now, but anyway, the point is it would be pointing here. We saw the tree with all the Christmas lights on it. And so
that's the photo here that it's not the same clothes as the person walking. Is this Camila? Is this Camila? I don't know, man. I don't know.
She would have last been seen at home where she lived with her mom. And she was apparently, asleep in a bed with her mom, got up and her mom assumed for her normal morning walk. And then when she didn't return, her mom reported her missing, especially when she found Camila's phone in her room, which is described as her room. So I don't know if Camila has her own room. And
well, I mean, it's a pretty big house. Wasn't sure if the parents were together, but I get the feeling that they're not still together because they haven't been seen maybe they were originally. I don't know if they're together or not, but it's a big house.
Her mom has her own room and Camila was sleeping in her mom's room. I don't know. We don't know why that is, and I don't want to speculate or guess why. It may have just been mental health concerns or that she was going through a really tough time, which is what the sheriff is saying as well. She went through a recent breakup as well. So either way, her mom, got really worried when she found her phone powered off in her room and then reported her missing. So this would be the area. Now, if we just look around here, I'm just trying to see if there would be a way, to get to the other side. And there we go. So it would make sense why she wasn't seen on surveillance footage if she had gone, for instance, I'm trying to line this up, hold on. This is difficult to do, let's just see. There's a way through here. You see this? You could definitely, it looks like, go through there, even if you had to hop over a fence here.
I mean, Okay. Grizzly's been doing this a long time. She's amazing. Um, how is it that the police didn't look more extensively in that area, given that they lost her on ring camera? It seems to me this would have been a pretty obvious route since she didn't show up on ring camera footage, but they searched twice. Maybe she was walking still. I mean, a week later, I don't really, it doesn't make sense. I don't know how many days between the two searches, but the tall grass, it's not like Jack and Lily in the bush, dense, it's open field. It's very strange that they wouldn't have found her before.
It doesn't mean she had to go through there. It's just that the body was found on the other side of this. So look here. What I'm trying to show you is this is where she was last seen, and her body was found around here. Meaning that makes sense now to me. Why?
See the culvert? This is the culvert. It goes right back here. So there's her car cam. This is the footage seen at 11:55 shining this way, and she's lost on video. But I thought she walked this way. This is why I'm confused. I thought she was seen to walk this way. At least that's what the police found. The opposite way, but it could be that she just walked right through here.
There was no ring cam footage or any surveillance of her. You know, all this time, one neighbor came forward with some dash cam footage, and based on what we know now, it likely wasn't her on that dash cam, in my opinion, because they said she would have had to walk this way and then turn left on this, I think it was called, let me just see what it was called, Wild Horse Parkway. So could it have been her? Yes. But it seems to me more likely that she would have gone from her home and then found a way through, like this, through this area to this fielded area. And then, I don't know if she was there or in a field here, but somewhere around this landscaping company. I put the pin here because that's where all the cop cars were, right? Whew, which is so sad. Now, if I measure it, if I just show you like this and we go.
I mean, it doesn't look like, I mean, this is just a Google shot, but it doesn't look like super tall grass in this picture. Those look like trees, but that's where, you know, she was likely found. So I don't really know. We don't really know, but we're going to end it here, and we're going to wait to see on the official update. My only hope is that they do a thorough investigation and don't just assume that this is her way of dying, you know. But let's get in now. I'm going to show you. We're going to talk now about this new case that seems a little bit more concerning, and that's Sydney Marquez. Let's watch Sydney Marquez's case here. Also missing from Texas. She's a little, whoops. Sorry, everybody. Okay, I got to do all the YouTube-y things to be, you know, I'm the only one that does this. I should just stop doing it because it takes away from the stream when I'm sharing, and I'm putting in the banner to be YouTube friendly over, you know, who's reporting it, because I want to do the right thing and give credit where credit is due. Most channels don't do this. And it takes a little bit of time, but I do want to continue being a little bit more you know, YouTube friendly. But this here we go. This is Sydney Marquez, who disappeared December 11th from Texas. She was visiting her friends over the holidays. Watch this.
Into some of our top stories from across Texas, a search effort is growing for a missing woman who took a trip to Houston. Sydney Marquez hasn't been seen since Thursday, December 11th.
Welcome
She's from
in,
El Paso,
everybody.
but was visiting her friends in Houston. Sydney's father got a call from those friends saying they couldn't find her. What they did find was her abandoned car in a tire shop parking lot. Surveillance cameras caught her walking through that parking lot, then going down the sidewalk. Sydney's dad is hoping someone can offer clues about her disappearance.
Witnesses are saying that.
I mean, I agree. The chances that it's someone else it's as far as Camila goes, you're right. But okay, let's go to Sydney now, because this is a longer case. She's been missing since December 11th, and they have not found her yet.
They see a young lady that's distraught, walking in circles, keeping to herself. They've offered her blankets. Sydney, it's Christmas, babe. Let's go home and open some gifts.
Close to the border. Close to the border.
I love you. Can't wait to hug you.
Sydney's last known location was at a bus stop. Investigators are now working to get a hold of footage from that bus.
A bus stop. Now that's news. I didn't hear the bus stop piece. Let's watch this. Brian Enton investigates, does an interview with the parents. I don't know, man. Let's watch this. This is we got a few to show on Sydney, because this one is getting a little concerning too. It's getting a lot concerning. This one actually has an element to it, if you haven't heard this case, that makes it I don't know. It tells us a little bit about humanity sometimes. Listen, and this one's just a little wild too.
By Sydney's parents tonight live. Raul and Luce joined me live on the show tonight. I really appreciate you both for being with me tonight. I'm hoping by getting the story out there,
I know, Pumpkin, I know.
get the word out about Sydney. Raul, I want to start with you. Have you gotten any new updates from police? Because from what we've been told, that piece of surveillance video is really the last time she was seen.
Well, we ran into some footage on Friday. So we got her about 1.5 miles from that's it right there, exactly. So that's the last time we saw her. It's about 12:27 a.m. She's literally 150 yards from her hotel.
Look at that.
So she was trying to get to her hotel.
So her hotel is like really like right here, apparently. And instead of turning into the parking lot to her hotel, which is like to her left, she goes straight. Why?
But for some reason or another, she kept going westbound on Harwin. And that's the last footage we have. Right now, we're crossing our fingers that Starbucks is kind enough to share the footage when she crosses the flyway, so we could.
Well, isn't there what they call the ladybird killer? And I thought that's the ladybird killer we're talking about, right? We talked about that briefly on this channel because they was reported a long time ago by the special agent, not Jennifer Coffendorfer, the other agent that appears on News Nation all the time, that she thinks there is a serial killer in Ladybird Lake, which I thought was Austin, Texas, but maybe it's San Antonio. But you're right. It's just these two cases just are weird.
Continue continue connecting the dots from there.
Do you have any idea, Raul, where she may have been going?
She should have turned left and gone to her hotel room. We're clueless.
Do you feel like police are taking this seriously? Because we've covered so many missing persons cases, and sometimes it's like, oh, the person will turn up, don't worry about it. Are they, do you feel like they're putting enough resources at this?
Well, in the beginning, they state, you're 1 out of 10,000.
No, this is News Nation, honey. We'll go to Brian next. This is News Nation.
Cases. Houston's a city of 6 million people. We're doing the best that we can, and these cases take time.
Take time.
To my surprise, I've been casing several hotels, several businesses, and I have run into our detective. So he is boots on the ground, and he is supportive on Sydney's case.
Okay, that's good to hear. Luce, I just want to ask you, had she ever disappeared before? Was there anything going on in her life that she would maybe just be wanting to get away?
No, not really. No, she just was a bright, happy. She's a bright, happy person and loves her family. She had a lot of reasons to be continuing with her plans in her life, and she left a lot of things undone here in El Paso.
Yeah, I mean, the photos of her, you can see how vibrant she is. You can see how happy she seems. You get that sense of what a future she has. Raul, what about her phone or any personal belongings? Has her phone turned up?
Every indication shows that she was heading back to her hotel. Her phone's there, her iPad's there, her class ring was there, her clothing is there. There's just no explanation why she didn't make it back to her hotel. She right there, she just needed to turn left.
And Raul,
so she just had to turn left towards the bottom of the screen, and instead she keeps going straight. Her hotel is right there. It's so bizarre.
Was in Houston. Was she there visiting friends?
That's correct.
What have those friends said?
That's correct.
And where were they?
Waiting for her. And they reached out to me that following day. Hey, Sydney's not back. What do we do? They filed a missing persons report.
Did they say if there was anything bothering her, or was there like a boyfriend? Did they? With her loose?
To my daughter?
Yes, yeah. When was the last time you all spoke on the phone? Was it recent?
Yeah, actually, like a week prior. She was about to come home on the weekend, and that's pretty much it. There was nothing out of the unusual.
How did she sound?
Really good. Yeah, really good. Happy. She left her cat here. She left. She sent me food on the mail for the cat, and that's she was looking forward to come and join the cat.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
God, I'm slow today. I am slow on the go. Let's watch another one. This is okay, so this is her parents doing a presser, and then we're gonna get a lot more information on this, and then we're gonna go. Jesus. I'm gonna stop crediting because it's so annoying. This is an interview her parents did. Let's watch because we get a lot more information here.
Through technical means by them, but they'll go ahead and through technical means by them, but they'll go ahead and say a few words for Sydney. And let me just adjust the audio.
I've never seen the police let a family do a presser like this. This is very interesting.
Whoever wants to go first, go ahead and do that now.
Sydney, if you're seeing this, you have your whole family who loves you. You have a beautiful life ahead of you. You're intelligent. You're smart. We want you back home. If anyone has Sydney, please let her go. If anyone's seen her, you can please just come forward. We just want our sister. We want our family complete. I love you.
You want to say something in Spanish?
I'll stick to English. Sorry.
Very sad.
Sydney, life isn't without my big sister. We love you and we miss you. And we want to hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Sydney, Clarissa, love you. We're missing you. The girls are missing you. Charlie's missing you. Please come back home. If anyone's seen her, please step up and share. We need our sister back.
And Charlie is Sydney's cat. So in conversations we've been having, we understand that Charlie misses Sydney a lot. Charlie es el gato de Sydney. Y en conversaciones que hemos tenido sabemos que Charlie también extraña a Sydney y todos queremos que regresen. So once again, we are going to be sending this to you. We have uploaded a folder on a Google Drive for you guys to share some pictures of Sydney that the family has allowed us to share. And we'll go ahead and upload this as soon as this is over, so that you guys can have access to this, and so, as well as some videos. But we are asking the community to come forward. We're asking for Houston. This family is not from Houston, so one of the reasons why we have stepped in is for them to get a Houston perspective, for them to know different areas, and for them to get insight. As you all know, Fiel has been here in the Gulfton area for the last 18 years, and so we're very familiar with the area. So when they start naming streets and stuff like that, we know exactly where they're talking about, because they are from El Paso. So we want to make sure that Houston comes together, shows this family kindness, and at the end of the day, if somebody has seen something, they need to come forward. So al final del día, esto lo vamos a poner en un Google Drive con las fotos que...
Okay, keep listening, because there's a very bizarre twist to this case. If you haven't seen it yet, it's probably not related to her disappearance, but it still shows a really sick side of
La
humanity.
familia ha permitido que se compartan, y es importante. Esta familia no es de Houston, es del Paso, pero ya que Sydney terminó aquí, queremos que Houston le demuestre la compasión y todo el respeto que es debido a esta familia, y que si alguien vio algo, que digan algo. Y de nuevo, queremos reiterar, es importantísimo que la gente sepa. Y si ellos tienen información, les exhortamos a que llamen a la policía y no tengan miedo por su estatus. En un caso así, no tendrían por qué la policía preguntarle el estatus de la persona que es testigo de un crimen o de cualquier cosa. Por favor, le suplicamos a la comunidad que si vieron algo, que digan algo. So at this time, we also want to make a special plea to the community that if they have information, to please come forward and to let the police know. And police should not be asking for immigration status when it comes to cases like this, and we will help to protect that. If they feel more comfortable, they can also call our office or reach out to us, and we will help to facilitate those conversations with authorities. Si se sienten también más cómodos, pueden llamarnos a nuestra oficina y nosotros podemos servir como intermediario entre ustedes y la policía si tienen cualquier información. So at this time, we will go ahead and take a few questions if there's any questions for the family.
I've never seen the family go ahead and do this presser like this. This is very, it's good to see, but normally the police do it, so it's very interesting. I know, it's so sad at the holidays to be going through this.
Sí, ya hemos platicado. Actually, eso es una de las preguntas que tuvimos y todavía estamos buscándola en diferentes sistemas, pero supuestamente ella trae su pasaporte con ella. En la última búsqueda que hicimos ayer, como alrededor de la medianoche, no aparecía en ningún otro sistema de inmigración to come forward, and we've seen these mistakes happen. But as of last night, after midnight, we did do a deep search for her in various systems, including the detention system here in Texas, and she doesn't appear as of yet. But at the end of the day, even though it sounds weird to say, that at least would give us a reprise in knowing that she is safe and well.
So she's not in a detention center. They check the databases. Hey, Krista, sweetie, nice to see you, honey. We're earlier this morning than we anticipated because I'm not sure I'm going to make it tonight. My car is in the city, and I have a friend. We're trying to find parts to finish repairing my car. Right now, it's not drivable. I had to take his car home, so I'm waiting for him to wake up. He's a slow waker, so that's why we did this morning. If I can, I'll be back tonight to do a YouTube New Year's Eve stream, but I'm doubtful at this point. I was gone all day yesterday. And so if that doesn't happen tonight, I'll be doing it tomorrow because I won't be able to drive my car now for quite a while. Welcome in,
Pues gracias a
Jeanette.
Dios estoy bendecido porque vino mucha familia y amigos del Paso, de San Antonio, de Dallas, y aquí estuvieron por la última semana pasando folletos a todos los shelters, los hospitales, negocios en la área, pero lo que nos...
Okay, I'm going to skip to where they start talking English because I heard them speaking English, which is why I thought we'd listen to this, but...
8 hours till the car was found, so she left the separately. So she took Austin, a Rowan Greyhound.
Hang on a second, sorry.
Al hablar con ella, de nuevo a desaparecer.
Salió del Paso en avión, supuestamente Es que lo dejó abandonado.
I'm Devon with Channel 11. Sorry that we're meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Devon.
My first question is, the night that she was reported missing, I know that there have been some reports that she was seen walking alone, her car was found running. That night, was she with friends? Was she out with friends, or did she go out separately?
She went out separately. So she took the car without permission. So she was with a friend. She told a friend, why don't you take a shower? Tricked them. She probably had a mannequin, so took the keys and drove off for 8 hours till the car was found. So she left the location about 3:30 p.m. and the car was discovered at 11. The car was.
So she tricked her friends and took her friend's car that broke down. Wow. Doesn't sound like she didn't plan this.
For abandoned at 11:30. Tow truck showed up at midnight, and that's how we were able to veer. What frustrates me about this whole situation is I had reported the plates to the law enforcement on Saturday, and the tow truck had been picked up Thursday night. So there should have been some sort of report stating that, or maybe there is, maybe there isn't, that would document that the car had been towed. If we were given that information, we could have focused on that area. As far as we knew, she got in the car, she went to Dallas, she went to San Antonio. We had no idea she was still in a 3-mile radius. So our efforts didn't take full swing till Sunday.
God
through
almighty.
Our own research.
Sunday. This is a report from 7 days ago, which today is Wednesday. So 11 days ago, December 11th. So for the first, today is the 31st. So for the first 9 days, they had no idea that she was still in the local area. Like, the information in these cases seems to come in too slow, according, even with Camila, like no dash cam footage and stuff.
Because we went online and,
I don't know,
and found out the car was towed, not through
Welcome in,
any support from the law enforcement. And I don't know, maybe there isn't some sort of a system where you could type in where law enforcement could type in a plate and know that the car is stolen, or if a car is towed, it's upon the car owner's responsibility to call each individual ownership. But the fact that the car was left in a public street, I think that was viable information that should have been shared right away.
Yes.
When the car was found,
my God,
everything was still there, which makes it more odd because she's a fanatic of her makeup. She had not only did she leave her makeup at the location, she also had a little spare makeup bag that stayed in the vehicle as well, with $20 in there. And the phone, yes.
And my second question is, I know that you guys have been working hand in hand with Texas EquiSearch.
Correct.
Have you guys received any sort of leads or calls or tips?
So she left. I mean, this is a strange story. She goes to visit her friends from El Paso to Houston before Christmas. Parents don't hear from her for a week, which, I mean, my kids are in their 30s and we text every day. So that to me is also odd. Like, maybe I'm just closer to my kids than a lot of people. I think some people would find my texting with my kids every day, pretty much every day, is maybe not normal. I don't know, but I find a 24-year-old in a strange city and not texting her parents for a week seems, I don't know, especially if they knew she was depressed. But she goes to visit friends, steals one of their cars, drives around for 8 hours, and the car breaks down and her makeup and cell phone is still in the car and she's disappeared. Seems like she ran into something foul, maybe. I don't know, man. I have no idea. Why did she steal a car? Did she steal a car? Is that just the friend's side of the story, right? Do we know for sure that she stole the car? That's their description of what happened. I really don't know here.
Maybe she's here or there, or they've seen her. Any sort of calls have come in to assist in the search effort?
So EquiSearch is doing a phenomenal job. They were part of our team, so combined effort amongst EquiSearch's folks and our folks. We probably had about 30 people canvassing or knocking on doors throughout the area. We do get lots of leads. They're great at obtaining footage locations. Unfortunately, we had received a tip that she was forced on a bus on 46. I don't know if y'all recall that, but it got
Forced on a bus.
I don't want to say debunked, but discredited, because we were able to get some footage from Burger King where I got a timestamp, and Metro was kind enough to provide the footage, and it wasn't her. I had asked for that information from the HPD detective, and he had told me that Metro had no footage, that their DVR system was down. That turned out to be untrue through, I think it was the efforts of, it might have been Jillian from 11 or Joy from 2 that called Metro, and they said that they would be providing footage to HPD. Once we knew that information was uncredible, or it didn't pan out, we brought back our efforts down south, which means I wasted 2 or 3 days of going north of Harwin, past Gessner, towards Westheimer, Memorial, and so forth, and I had no business up there. There's just a lot of dead ends, or a lot of missteps that have been taken.
This is Sydney Marquez. The first, we were covering Camila, right? The first few minutes we're covering Camila Mendoza, where they found a body they announced yesterday to be hers, with a gun nearby her body. Now we're following Sydney Marquez, who disappeared December 11th. That's the only 2 cases we're covering. Sydney Marquez went to visit her friends in Houston. And when she got to Houston, what we're just hearing now, to visit some friends, the friends have reported she stole one of the friends' car, did not ask for permission, and took the car and drove around Houston for 8 hours, which subsequently broke down on the side of the road. And then that's the video we see of her walking in all white, and she doesn't turn into her hotel, which is right there left. She goes straight. I don't know where the car is at this point. We haven't heard that, if this is before or after the car was found abandoned. But as we just heard, her phone and makeup was found in the car, which would not be like her, according to her father, to leave behind. So this is 24-year-old Sydney Marquez, who disappeared in Houston, Texas, while visiting friends, and she's from El Paso.
I could have used the sources I had at that time to focus on other areas.
Dos preguntas.
Mándeme.
Dijo que tiene voluntarios con el search, haciendo búsqueda. ¿Hay un lugar donde gente que quiera apoyarlos a seguir buscando pueden ir y firmarse para ayudarles?
Pues por lo pronto tendría que ser through EquiSearch. Nosotros no tenemos nada formal aquí en Houston. Nosotros no tenemos, por decir, los resources, o mejor aquí como aquí, si pueden dar su información, que vengan para acá para hacer una campaña. Claro, estamos dispuestos a recibir todo el apoyo posible.
La segunda pregunta es que en un video que sale se mira caminando normal. ¿Puede usted también alertar a la comunidad y a las agencias de la policía que aunque ella se mire normal y aunque a veces haga reset a su mente y que está bien, como quiera deben de avisarle? Porque puede suceder que diga, no estoy bien.
Well, Donna, just hang around. We got 7 minutes left of this video, and you're going to hear one that's even more disturbing from the next video we're going to cover here on this case of Sylvie Marquez.
Exacto, es muy importante, porque si ven el primer video, lo ven que está caminando, está dando vueltas, como que ¿dónde
I keep calling her Sylvie, Sydney Marquez.
estoy? ¿Qué estoy haciendo? ¿Qué está pasando? Pero 3 minutos después ya está caminando derechito. Entonces sí es muy posible que si la encuentran y le preguntan ¿en qué condiciones estás? Te va a contestar, estoy súper bien, estoy bien, no necesito nada. ¿Necesitas algo? No, estoy bien. Pero en ese momento, por favor, es importante que se contacten conmigo, con la policía o alguien. Preferencia a mí, porque la policía, le hablan a la policía, van a poner un reporte, lo van a poner un papel.
Okay, I'm going to stop this because I don't understand Spanish. Let's go to the crazy interview here, where we get some more. This is Brian Enton. We're going to.
I've got a really disturbing case involving a young woman in Houston, Texas, who is missing. Her name is 24-year-old Sydney Marquez. She's been missing since December 11th when her car was found abandoned, and I'm going to talk with her parents in a second. It's a very, very active case. So I'm hoping, I know it's the holidays and people are distracted, but I'm hoping people will watch this, will share this, because she still needs to be found. But first, I want to give you an update to another case that that I've been following, that I know a lot of you have been really interested in.
I'm just going to skip through this because he's going through Camila.
And the microphone is not great, but if you listen carefully.
Sorry, everybody. Let's watch this now.
You know, my heart goes out to her family. I want to move on to the case of 24-year-old Sydney Marquez, because this is very active, and I think people can help by watching this video, and we need to get the word out on this one. She's a former Texas A&M student. She is a neuroscience graduate. She's a daughter, she's a sister, she's a friend, a wonderful, wonderful young woman. Again, I spoke to her parents, which you're going to hear that interview in a second, and I'm also going to speak to a former FBI agent about the case. Tonight, she's a missing person in Houston. Sydney disappeared late on the night of December 11th while she was out visiting friends. There's surveillance video that shows her walking in an area near where she was staying. It's around midnight, and then there's just no confirmed sightings after that. Her car was later found abandoned in Southwest Houston. Her parents they've traveled to Houston from their home in El Paso. They remain there right now, helping to investigate this, looking into any leads. Again, her car has been found, her phone has been found, but Sydney is nowhere to be found. I spoke with her parents on News Nation. Take a listen to this. Have you gotten any new updates from police? Because from what we've been told, that piece of surveillance video is really the last time she was seen.
Well, we ran into some footage on Friday. So we got her about a mile and a half from that's it right there, exactly. So that's the last time we saw her, it's about 12:27 a.m. She's literally 150 yards from her hotel. So she was trying to get to her hotel, but for some reason or another, she kept going westbound on Harwin, and that's the last footage we have. Right now, we're crossing our fingers that Starbucks is kind enough to share the footage when she crosses the flyway, so we could continue continue connecting the dots from there.
Do you have any idea, Raul, where she may have been going?
She should have turned left and gone to her hotel room. We're clueless.
Do you feel like police are taking this seriously? Because we've covered so many missing persons cases, and sometimes it's like, oh, the person will turn up, don't worry about it. Are they, do you feel like they're putting enough resources at this?
Well, in the beginning, they state, you're 1 out of 10,000 cases. Houston's a city of 6 million people. We're doing the best that we can, and these cases take time.
1 in 10,000 cases. 1 in 10,000 cases. We listened to this a little earlier. So I'm going to fast forward beyond the News Nation interview that Brian put in the clip here, and just get to this section here now at the end of this clip, because he brings in some other people to talk to about this case.
Service Texas EquiSearch has stepped in, bringing volunteers and resources in to help search for Sydney, and that search is ongoing. I spoke with Mark Edwards with EquiSearch, and he told me something really infuriating, specifically about someone who may have some information that could actually help, but is not doing anything. Listen to this.
We're not told where they're from originally, but they do make a reference in one of the news the news briefings, as we just heard, that they had to check to make sure that she wasn't taken by ICE or whatnot. So it's not clear. It's not clear. But listen to this. This is very, very upsetting.
It's heartbreaking, Mark, talking to Sydney's parents. Again, just knowing what time of the year it is with the holidays, and that it just seems like there's no answers. There's that surveillance video where you see her walking, should be going back to the hotel. Have you been able to figure out what may have happened next?
No, we haven't. her dad has been instrumental in chasing down video. We've stretched some leads down to where we've been able to determine they were less than accurate. Our office is getting leads every day, all day long. And we're putting boots on the ground behind those leads. A lot of the leads are so far-fetched that I just don't bother the family with it. They've got too much on their plate.
Wow.
We have a few theories. Sydney may be having an emotional episode. And in my experience, I've seen episodes like that can last 2 days or they can last 2 years. And I think she's just wandering. I think someone's going to say something or see something and say something. That's how we find people quite often. And we don't give up hope because we see miracles every day.
So I just want to make sure I understand correctly. I know her dad mentioned that her phone was left behind, so she doesn't have her phone. Was her car also abandoned?
The car appears to have had mechanical difficulty.
But it wasn't her car. I'm so confused. Well, this is it, Donna. It seems like they're blaming this on mental health as well. And it could be. We don't really know, but just, I don't know.
The night she went missing. She left it in the right lane of a boulevard in Houston and walked away from it. That was caught on video, surveillance video at a tire shop. And so there's been a trail of substantiated sightings by security video from that point, about 2.5 miles. She was just steady walking. She left her phone at her hotel room, and her mom and dad have that phone now. But in order to get into that phone,
They're not saying that, Marie. They're not saying it at all, that she was known to have mental illness. I don't know, man. I don't know.
into the cloud,
I think they're looking at all possibilities.
when you attempt to do that, it tells you to enter a 6-digit access number
Listen to this.
that was sent.
Listen to this. This is going to blow your mind. So her phone number changed. So in the police trying to get access to her phone records, it needs a passcode when you enter in, to your iPhone, to the cloud. Listen to this.
Sydney's old phone number, which has now been given away, the phone number, to a woman in El Paso, Sydney's hometown, and they refuse to give us that code so we can get into that phone, to the point where it appears they're requiring a fee of $1,000 to do that.
Wait, yeah, let me stop you, Mark. I want to make sure I understand. So you're trying to get in Sydney's phone. It's sending a code to who in El Paso?
A random individual whose new phone number happens to be Sydney's old phone number.
And so you're trying to get the code from that person, and then they're trying to charge you money to give you the code?
It smacks extortion, if you ask me.
Oh my gosh.
It's dastardly. Here's a man spilling his guts to these people on the phone, and when that didn't work, Raul and his wife flew back home to El Paso and went and knocked on the door. Still won't give him the code.
That's sick. I mean, you look at those parents, and all you'd have to do is give the code, and you're just trying to make some money now off of this situation. I mean, that is about as low as it gets, Mark. Well, listen, if that person is watching, I don't even know what to say.
Do you hear that? That should be illegal. Exactly. Yeah. So she gets a new phone number. And when they're trying to access her phone, you need to enter your password for security. The security code goes to the new owner of her old phone number. And the father calls and the mother call the woman who now has her old phone number. I guess they just call the phone. It's pretty easy to do. They knew her old phone number. And the woman on the other end will not give them the password so they can get into her iCloud account to see if she was talking to a predator online, had suicidal ideation thoughts, or if there's anything on her phone that could lead them to her whereabouts. And this woman is refusing and wants $1,000 from these parents to give the frickin' code. Where are the cops? Not this interference in a crime? Why is this on the parents who had to fly back home to sell? Like, shame on her. I hope we find out who she is and she's publicly fucking shamed. Excuse my language. She's the most vile, disgusting human being I've ever fucking heard of. That is just beyond the pale disgusting. But where are the cops interfering in a crime and arresting somebody that won't give that information? Where is the law going to that woman's door going, you're going to be taken to jail if you don't disclose? Like, this is unbelievable. And this is a glimpse into what parents of missing kids deal with. Look, at the parents are the ones that are boots on the ground. The parents are the ones giving the updates. The parents are the ones flying to Houston, banging on this woman's door. The parents are the ones down in Houston getting surveillance cameras footage. The parents are the ones that found out the cop was wrong about the metro. The parents. What happens when the parents don't get involved to this extent? The case just goes dead? Like Jack and Lily? Like, I know, it's just, what the fudge? It just drives me freaking nuts, man. It drives me nuts. It's just inexcusable. I don't know where people that do not cooperate when someone is missing like that should be automatically jailed. It should be automatic. You're in fucking jail, biatch. Well, this is it. Like, how disgusting. Maybe there's a connection. That it's very strange.
Appreciate talking to Mark. So again, just want to put the picture up again of Sydney because this is a very, very active case. And I want to talk with Bobby Chacon, former FBI agent, to get a little more intel into what might be going on here. First of all, I plan to talk to you about a couple of cases, including the Camila Mendoza Olmos case. But sadly, there's been pretty tragic update there, and we're going to have to wait to see, obviously officially from the medical examiner, but I don't think this is obviously the way anybody wanted that one to end.
Yeah, it looks like a body was found by one of the search parties that was aiding in that case, and in the areas where they would have thought that Camila would have ended up. And unfortunately, they did find a body, although it hasn't been identified positively yet. But it was in the same area that they were searching by one of those search parties.
I'm sorry, all these videos seem to be, everybody's covering both cases together. And it's like almost as if everybody sees like, it's just weird that these two girls' cases are constantly covered together in these videos. So we're now quickly going back to Camila Mendoza Olmos, who yesterday the police came out to say that they think they found her body. And then he's going to get in mainly to talking about Sydney here.
And unfortunately, it looks like it had a gun. There was a gun nearby. And in Camila's case, there was a gun missing. A relative's gun was missing from the house. So you start putting the pieces together. And even before a definitive identification from the medical examiner, you can start to, file this one under, unfortunately.
Yeah, it sounded you could tell the sheriff was sad and sort of thinking in that direction when he had the press conference. But there is obviously still hope with the Sydney Marquez case. I had spoken with her parents. It's just a heartbreaking story. Another beautiful young woman, was in college, just seemed like she super, super smart, had a lot ahead of her. There's this surveillance video where you see her walking, and that's pretty much it in Houston. She was supposed to go back to her friend's house. What strikes you with that one?
You know, the video shows her kind of going towards the hotel that she was staying at in Houston while visiting friends there, where her iPad was and her phone was and things like that. And then she kind of mysteriously makes a different turn. She makes a left instead of going straight or something like that, where, you know, the other path would have taken her back to the hotel. And why she made that turn, you know, we can't figure out. No one can figure out. You know, I saw you interview the father, and he can't figure out why she made that turn. And so it really is, you know, a mystery on, you know, what, where, and why she did that. She clearly, you know, deliberately made that turn. There's no one else in that video with her. She doesn't seem like who, you know, beforehand and basically told her to leave her stuff behind. You know, we have seen cases like that. Was there somebody riding along that took, you know, a crime of opportunity when they saw a young girl on the street alone and they decided to, you know, pounce? You know, those are all possibilities that, you know, investigators are having to deal with right now.
And the fact that she didn't have her phone, that she left her phone behind, to me, I just think about me, and then especially young people, you know, when you don't have your phone, I don't know, it just seems like something people don't leave behind.
Well, certainly people that age, I think she was 24 years old, and certainly people that age and younger almost never leave their phone behind. In fact, if they're without their phone, their anxiety level goes up.
Listen, I don't even care what age you are. I never leave my home without my phone. Does anybody leave their home without their phone anymore for pure safety reasons? Who leaves their phone home anymore in these day and age? I don't. I'm 57. It's not an age thing. It's a fucking, excuse my language, it's a safety thing.
Up, and they have to have it with them oftentimes. So yes, I mean,
Exactly.
that's a kind of a clue that investigators, because we have seen cases where, you know, online predators have told the people or their targets of their predator behavior, you know, don't tell your parents and leave your phone at home, because they know those can be tracked.
I don't know if that's a smart idea. No offense, Calm Kitty. No offense, Calm Kitty. But I never leave my phone alone, like without my body. I mean, it's too unsafe.
Right. And so there are cases where they've told people, you know, young girls mostly, you know, to leave their phone behind. I'll have a phone waiting for you or whatever, or get a prepaid phone or something like that. So, you know, that is one of those things that kind of adds to that theory of, did she meet someone online that she told no one about? And oftentimes those predators will tell them, hey, don't say anything because they'll hate me or whatever, or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I'm saying we've seen that in previous cases where they've told the person to leave behind their cell phone and even their debit card, because they know the things that law enforcement is going to use to track that person.
What do you think law enforcement is doing behind the scenes now? And do you think that Houston police have gotten the FBI involved?
Well, yeah, I would think they did in very, very similar fashion that in the case in Camila, you know, where Sheriff Salazar told us what the FBI was doing. So the FBI has something called SOMEX, each office, which is the social media exploitation team, which are the people that are experts in, you know, doing those deep dive digital footprint kind of examinations. And they go through, you know, even if they were on a VPN or the dark web or something, they'll be able to find communications of this person, because that's what you're looking for. If it was the most difficult part is if it was somebody random driving by, seeing a young woman on her own alone at night and snatching them up, because they have no contact with them, they have no connection to them. But the other world of possibilities is somebody she knew or somebody that lured her there. And to do that, you have to communicate with the person.
Is that you're talking about Sydney or Camila? Because we're talking about both cases, hon. I know Camila, they're thinking the body that was found, it was suicide, but this is Sydney. I haven't heard that they're thinking it was suicide yet, so I don't know where you heard that. If you could share, that would be wonderful. If that's you're talking about Sydney Marquez, the 24-year-old that they're talking about could be suicidal as well. Let me know if you could, please.
So how do we communicate, and how do people that want to hide their communications communicate. And so they'll look at the dark web, they'll look at, maybe she formed another profile or things like that. So that social media exploitation team will do that deep dive and see, not just what she was saying on her Facebook and what she was liking or not liking, or who was liking her things. They do that routinely. Were they trying to establish themselves in a different arena?
That's why I wanted to specify. No worries. I'm covering both at the same time. I know it's confusing. It seems to be everybody's covering the two simultaneously in the same videos, which is interesting. I mean, both women disappeared from Texas around the same time. They both look similar. They both left their phones behind. So yes, no worries.
A hidden kind of profile, a hidden communication type of thing. And they're very good at doing that. So the FBI probably, hopefully has been contacted to add that kind of assistance.
We heard that they.
So I'm just going to pop the picture up again, just so we know. We're talking about why you're 100% clueless right now. Sorry, Krista, honey. So I did a video. I've been off trying to get my car done. Hey, Diana. Getting my car done. My friend's been working on my car with the holidays and everything. So I've been a little off the lives. My apologies. And work hasn't been so great, but I was trying to work. Anyways, this update is of Camila on the left. Camila Mendoza Olmos, who yesterday the police came out and said they found a body they believe to be hers, although they have not conclusively said it was her, despite the fact that they said she left her home with her car keys and her driver's license. So I'm not clear why, if the driver's license is on her person, why they haven't been able to substantiate that yet. I guess just maybe part of the process. And they think this was suicide. They found a gun nearby the body, and it was just a few hundred yards away from her home. Go back to the beginning of this video if you want to see that. Now we're moving into another woman from Texas in the blue. So that was the update on Camila. And now we're talking, look how similar these women look. They're both from Texas. It disappeared from Texas. Sydney Marquez is 24, still missing when she went to Houston. She's the one in the blue. She's the one in the blue. So this is who we're talking about now. She went to visit her friends from El Paso on December 11th is when she disappeared. So I don't know how many days she'd already been in Houston, but she went to visit friends from El Paso to Houston. The parents have just reported, according to the friends reporting. I just take everything with a grain of salt. I don't presume the friends to be honest at this point because we don't really know. According to her friends, she stole one of their cars and took off. 2 pics on the left. Camila is on the right. No, there's 1 pic on the left in red, which is Camila in red. See the red border? And it says update on the top. The 2 pics on the right, unless you've got an opposite angle, Donna, a mirror image. The 2 pics on the right in blue are Sydney Marquez. That's why I did them in 2 different colors. But I'm finding the similarities between these 2 cases odd and interesting. Whether they both turn out to be suicidals, I don't know. But they look similar, same time frame, similar ages, similar, Texas disappearing, both left their phones behind. They're believing that Camila on the left committed suicide because they found a gun nearby. Doesn't to me mean suicide, but whatever. That's what they were thinking. Now we're talking about Sydney on the right in the blue. That's the picture of her in the white. She's not been seen since December 11th. She left her home in El Paso to go visit some friends over the holidays in Houston. And the parents and the friends are reporting, the friends she went to visit, that she just got up and stole a car from their property while visiting. And then drove around for 8 hours. The car broke down and they found her makeup and cell phone in the car. Nowhere is she to be found. And the video of her wearing the white is the surveillance video of her walking right in front of the hotel she was staying at. And instead of turning left to go right to the hotel, which the dad says is 150 meters away from her on that corner, 150 meters, She goes straight. Why doesn't she go back to her hotel? It's all very bizarre. All bizarre. So now if you're just coming in to add to this case and the insanity of this case, as we just heard, the Sydney case on the right, the girl on the right, they're trying to get into her phone that was found in the car that she's rumored to have stolen. And that abandoned car that broke down, and she left her cell phone in the car. She has recently changed her phone number, which is also very interesting. And in trying to gain access to her cell phone, she didn't update her cell phone number. It would appear her new phone number with Apple. So in trying to get access to her Apple cloud to see if she was talking to a predator online, to get some intel, the original phone number is now owned by another woman in her hometown, El Paso. And that woman got, when you need a password and it texts your phone, that woman got the password because she now owns, the girl in blue, Sydney's old phone number. And the woman that has the code is refusing to release the code to her parents so they can get into her phone. What the TF is that? So now Brian's asking, can the FBI get into her phone? Because it appears that this woman's not giving access without money. She wants $1,000. She should be arrested now. I hope her name comes out. She's publicly shamed. I'm sorry. It's absolutely disgusting that the parents called the woman who is now in possession of their daughter, 24-year-old Sydney Marquez's old phone number, to which the password to get into her phone pinged and went to the new owner of her old phone number. And the woman who now owns the phone number that Sydney used to own is refusing to give them the password so they can get into her phone and see if there's anything in her phone. Well, I hope they get a warrant. They haven't yet got a warrant. It's wild. Listen up. Well, that's it, Krista.
Israel or something to come in and actually do that work, because the FBI didn't have the ability to do it, and Apple would not provide assistance in doing that. And some of these companies, they do have a vested financial interest in maintaining the fact that their devices are secure for the public. I mean, they make that assertion when they're selling these devices, and that is a selling feature. So oftentimes, even if they do help, they want it kind of behind the scenes. They don't want it known that they're helping. So yeah, some of these, as these devices get more sophisticated, it's more difficult for law enforcement to get into them.
So even if someone's missing, like if the law enforcement goes to Apple or to Verizon or something, they'll still sometimes say no to helping?
Well, yes, but I mean, you can get a court order and demand that they do those things, and hopefully they honor those court orders, or subpoenas usually is what it takes, or court order. You have to go to a judge. You have to have probable cause to believe that what you're looking for is on that phone. So it's almost akin to a search warrant. It's a little bit lighter as far as the level of proof that you need. But yeah, you do have to go through a legal process. If they're not willing to do it voluntarily, you do have to go through somewhat of a legal process.
It sure makes you wonder, Donna. It sure makes you wonder, doesn't it, if there's a connection? Because it's just, I don't know who in their right mind, under the circumstances, wouldn't provide that code. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Now, if you don't have that, like in the San Bernardino case, where the person's deceased and you don't have the ability to kind of get into that phone, then you have to go to other means, like we did when like the FBI did when they hired that hacker to get into that phone.
When I talked to Sydney's dad, he was saying that he was going around to businesses and getting surveillance video. And I've seen this in other cases too, where the family members will actually be the ones kind of doing some of the detective work. And he didn't say anything bad about the police, but it just made me wonder with some of these missing cases, you wonder how seriously, I mean, they get so many missing cases, you wonder how seriously they really take them and how much investigative work they do.
I haven't done readings recently because they're not being watched. So I don't know. Nobody seems to watch the readings lately, so I'm not sure.
Well, there's always a balancing act, right? And yeah, in fact, her father was very complimentary of the police. In fact, he said when he went to some of these places, he was bumping into the detective that was working the case. So the detective was kind of one step ahead of him, or at the same time was there. The issue is, look, in effect, we have a 24-year-old woman who disappeared. 24-year-old women are allowed to disappear. They're allowed to not contact their family. There's no, while there's suspicion that she may have come to harm, there's nothing unusual. Well, I won't say there's nothing unusual, but there's nothing illegal about a 24-year-old leaving everything behind and starting a new life somewhere else. This is different than, say, a 14-year-old, right? So she's an adult. She's a young woman of somewhat means. She's in college. She's intelligent. So if she's doing something, and we've seen that in, last year, a couple of years ago, the girl from, I think, Hawaii was flying to New York, stopped in LA, disappeared at LAX. The family came looking for her. And ultimately she returned from Mexico where she had gone. But there was a case like this where it was a young woman who disappeared under somewhat unusual circumstances, but it turned out she was fine. So that's the balancing act that a police department has to go through. How much resources do you dedicate to a case like this, where it's an adult who simply has disappeared and there's no sign of foul play? If she wasn't being stalked, if she wasn't being threatened, if there's no obvious, threats to her that they've come up with or been told by family or friends, then how much effort do you put into it? Because quite frankly, there are a lot of other cases, I'm sure, that same police department is working. And so you can't put all your resources into one case like this. And it's unfortunate, but that's what it comes down to. It's where do you put your resources?
Yeah, that's a good point too, because I've done a couple stories like missing people where it turns out, and not that that's the case with Sydney, but where they just don't want to be found. I mean,
that's right.
It was an emotional breakdown or whatever, and they end up turning up and the whole thing kind of goes away, which you kind of hope happens in many ways. I mean,
you do hope that happens. You always hope the person is safe, but when they do that, then they come home to a kind of a public backlash of, the police department spent all these resources looking for you, and all of these people were out searching, and then you're fine, and you come home, and so you do get some, and we've all seen cases like that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Is human trafficking out of the realm of possibility, do you think, with a case like this?
No, I don't. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. And I didn't think it was out of the realm of possibility with Camila's case either. It's always one of those avenues that you have to keep exploring, particularly in certain areas of the country, border areas where you're close to a border where they can get somebody across, an international border quickly, and things like that. And someone that's alone, traffickers usually do that. They look for people that are alone, that are unconnected. If you're traveling with a group of people, if there's 4 or 5 girls walking down the street, they're much less likely to be, predated upon by somebody that's looking to snatch an individual. So yeah, I think human trafficking does have to stay on the table until you can, until the evidence leads you into one of the other theories that you're following.
Yeah. Well, hopefully there'll be a positive resolution here. I mean, again, you just hope that maybe she did have some kind of breakdown and, is going to be okay.
Yes, always. We always, the worst case scenario is what we experienced earlier today in Camila's case. And you never want that to happen. And, it's what investigators always fear the most. And, when it happens, and like you said, the sheriff seemed very sad about it, even though he wasn't saying it was definitely her. You could see how he was dejected, and because none of us want the cases to end up that way. And unfortunately, far too many do.
The time of year that it is right now, obviously, we just had Christmas, New Year's coming up. Does that play a part in the investigation at all? I mean, are there more sex trafficking issues, more missing people? Like, does the holidays come into play?
Well, I think whenever you have a lot of people traveling, it comes into play. Trafficking comes into play because they do like to randomly select their victims so they can't be tied to the area where the victim is taken from. You know, we'll hear that often, you know, around the Super Bowl. We hear people get trafficked around the Super Bowl into Super Bowl cities and things like that. So yeah, but at the same time, you also hear a lot about depression increases around the holidays. People that are alone, or people that, you know, are going through an emotional upheaval in their lives, it seems to be exaggerated during the holidays. It seems to be, you know, towards Christmas and towards New Year's, particularly because the New Year's supposed to start and it's supposed to be all fresh and you're supposed to be looking forward to a new start. But if people are also in that depressive state, it could push them further into that. So you do hear a lot about people under depression getting worse around the holidays. So yeah, the holidays do exacerbate, you know, both of those possibilities.
As always.
So yeah, so we had somebody just came in and asked if this is one or two cases. So I wanted to cover the update on Camila in the red. So where it says update on the top in red, that is the one case of Camila Mendoza. So if you're just coming in, go back to the beginning of the live stream where we started it an hour and a half ago. And it's an update on Camila Olmos. And now what we've just finished up is the woman in the right, Sydney Marquez, who has still been is still missing from Houston, and she's 24. And so we just did the two cases, mainly Sylvie or Sydney. I keep calling her Sylvie. I don't know. It's so weird. Sydney. But Camila also, we had just updated because they found a body yesterday after searching for her. She disappeared Christmas Eve. They believe to be her, but they haven't confirmed it yet. We're still waiting for a couple days from now for them to confirm for sure that the body found yesterday is that of Camila Mendoza Olmos on the left in red, deceased. They think it was suicide. I'm hoping they don't just deem it suicide. We've just heard from Brian Enton Investigates interview. Resources are tight, and 10,000 people missing in Houston alone. Resources are tight. Will they jump to the assumption this is a suicide? I hope not, because it just something seems off in her case. Sydney Marquez also left her phone behind, traveled to go visit friends before the holidays. She's the one in blue on the right, is still missing. Drove from El Paso or flew from El Paso to Houston to visit some friends, has not been seen since December 11th. It's reported that she stole, according to her friends, she took she didn't ask for permission. She just stole one of their cars, drove around for 8 hours around Houston. The car broke down, as seen abandoned near a car shop, tire shop, and her phone and makeup inside the car. I don't know what that means. So if you're just coming in, I'm sorry. I'm going to end it here now. If just check the notification, I'm going to do the best I can to do a New Year's Eve stream today. I even bought New Year's Eve ears at the dollar store to wear some festive ears because I wanted to go through the top cases of 2025 in true crime, the ones we've covered here on the channel, as well as some that we didn't cover. And that was my intent for tonight's live. Hello, Donald. I'm sorry you're just coming in and we're about to leave. But I will hopefully be back tonight. Just look at the channel to see if I'm able to do again. My car, I had to leave my car in the city. A friend of mine's repairing it. As we go to do one thing, something else, you know, it's like taking an old house apart. You open up the wall and you find a set of problems, and we're having a hard time getting parts. So my car, I had to drive my friend's car home last night. He's in a wheelchair, so he has a truck makeshifted so he can drive, even though he's paralyzed, if you can imagine. I had to drive his truck home. So anyways, so if I don't show up tonight, it's because he still hasn't woken up. I haven't heard from him yet. He's not an early riser. And if I'm on tonight, it's because I know, Donna. I know. He was so excited. I've known him since I was 14. He is in a car accident. I think I told you. You want to talk about injustice. His girlfriend at the time was driving and they got in a car accident. She left him to die on the roads outside of Ottawa, where he almost died, paralyzed on the road in January on the frozen road in Canada, here, just outside of Ottawa. I've known him my whole life. Well, 14 years old, I met him. I'm 57. And so here he is yesterday. I'll just show you. He was so excited to be able to work on my car. Here he is in a wheelchair. His buddy working on my car in there. He lives in an apartment with an underground garage, working on my brakes. And he was so excited to be given the opportunity to do something again. Yeah, it's a sad story. Maybe someday I'll get Jim to come on and talk to you about it. It's wild. They caught her on camera. Yeah, I know. He's a great guy. Some girlfriend. Yeah. Listen to this. So she's driving. They get into a car accident in the middle of the night outside of Ottawa, January 5th. They caught her. This is our justice system in Canada. They caught her on camera. She called her mom. Her mom came and picked her up in the middle of the night, and they left Jim on the road. He got thrown and ejected from the car in the middle of the road on January 5th. He almost died. He said he saw angels and stuff coming in to just tell him to hang on. He almost died. He's permanently paralyzed. He's trying to walk. He's making a few steps. I know. I've known him, like I said, 40 some years of my life. And yesterday, his buddy came, his friend called, he FaceTimed his friend. His other friend was so happy to see him working on my car. He was so elated that I gave him the chance to do something productive. And it's so sad. He is the nicest person. It's just wild. So yeah, there's a lot of problems with the justice system in this country. And that's why I'm such a vocal about it. It's absolute bullshit. Like, they have her on camera, abandoning him and leaving him to die on the road. And her mom coming to pick her up. And the two women drove away and left him on the road, paralyzed in the middle of the road on January 5th. It was like minus 30 something. It was like 5 hours he was losing consciousness. He said he was for sure thought he was dying. And like angels were coming in, telling him to hang on when the paramedics, somebody found him on the road and showed up. It's just they should both be, well, he's tried to sue them. Yes, he is getting a settlement claim soon, but that's a whole other conversation. That is another rabbit hole of the insurance companies and justice. It is a fucking disaster. It's a disaster. And it's because now it's a lawsuit with insurance companies, and it's a whole different conversation. So, if I'm at Jim's tonight, what I might do is bring my laptop and maybe say, hey, does Jim want to jump on the live and say hi to everybody, and tell a little bit about his story if he wants to. But yeah, so Jim and I he was friends with my ex-husband that I met when I was 14, and they went to school together. That's how I know Jim. I'm 57. He's 59. My ex-husband's 59. He was 16. I was 14 when we met. So that's how long we've been friends. We even moved from Ottawa together to Muskoka together. And my ex-husband and him worked together. When my ex-husband beat me up and he almost killed me, I went to Jim's house up the road. I went to Jim's house. So yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely wild. So he's been fighting to get justice, and the insurance companies are involved now, and boy, they don't want to pay him. It's unbelievable. He's had to get a lot of lawyers involved for his case. He's a talker. If he comes on, you'll be here for a long time. He's a talker. If you think I'm a talker, you got to meet Jim. Jim's he's a great person. So I was extremely happy to give him the opportunity yesterday. And so I drove his car. He's one of the only people I know that's permanently paralyzed that got a car that he makeshifted to drive. with his hands because he can't use his feet. And so I had to get in his big ass truck last night to drive home. I'm like, I felt like a little shrink pot. I'm like 5'1", and it's like, I mean, it's just wild. Thank you. Yeah, no, I know. So he was so excited. Like I said, his friends were calling and FaceTiming because he was like so excited to feel productive. And he's like, oh my God, I miss this, Leanne. And it's so weird because his buddy in the building came down to help because he knew, Jim would need a little bit of help in the wheelchair because, there's only so much you could do. I mean, in fact, there were so many times he was torquing to get my wheel off that he almost fell out of his wheelchair. So thank God Todd was there. And Todd is single, by the way. I've never met Todd until last night. I'm like, I like Todd. I like Todd. Yes, he needs to feel like he has a purpose. So he's finally getting a settlement. And what he wants to do, he wants to buy a piece of land for other people in wheelchairs to build like a community of people that are immobile. So yeah, that's what he wants to do. So that because there's a lot of isolation, there's just, yeah. So he wants to build a piece of land to build a community of tiny homes for people that are in wheelchairs. And the fact that he is not only so positive about it, like he has to pee, he can't even pee in the toilet, right? He has to pee with a tube up his pee-pee. Like it's really bad. Like it's really sad. He'll never have sex again. He can't walk. And this happened in 2019. So this happened, I got the call on my birthday, December 8th, 2019. My dad almost died. And Jim, January 5th. Like we both went through the trauma 2 weeks apart. And he's still fighting. Since my dad died, have given up on the fight of justice for my dad. But Jim is still fighting, but it looks like he's finally going to get his money from settling from a lawsuit. That went through the insurance, and that's a whole other issue. But yeah. So I'll ask Jim. I'm going to bring my laptop tonight because it takes him a lot longer to work to get things done. He has medical things. So he, when he goes to the bathroom, it's not like he's just going pee and coming back down. It's takes a little longer for him, and he got tired yesterday and he gets like runs low on energy. But I'll bring my laptop tonight so that if it goes long, maybe we can just do a happy New Year's Eve and bring Jim in, and we'll see. I'm sure he would love that. So yeah, so stay tuned. But yeah, he's a really good friend. I also want to talk about Jack and Lily a little bit. I don't know if y'all saw the new report that went out. The Globe and Mail did 2 videos over the holidays, and they doubled down on their messaging on the second video they did. I haven't seen anybody play it. Basically, it seems like they're doubling down on the case is done. Like I don't know how much the RCMP are working on it at this point. I think they've come to a dead end in the leads. I heard the newest rumors of Durwood claiming that he's fed up with Janie and Daniel now, that he went to go to the trailer to confront them because he now says they're lying after saying they were honest, outstanding citizens. And yeah, so I want to talk about that tonight if we go back on. I did a bit of a private reading on Durwood. I pulled my pendulum, Krista. I'd love you ladies to see if you find what I found yesterday. Is Durwood being questioned right now by the RCMP? I don't know, but I'm wondering if this case is going to ever get solved with Jack and Lily. I think if we don't hear something soon, very, very soon, I don't think we're going to hear of any arrests on Jack and Lily. I just don't, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But someone suggested that Durwood might have been arrested for interfering in the case. I don't know how true that is, but I would love to do a little bit more than I did on a private reading last night, and I'd love to see what comes up. But yeah, yeah, that's what I got. I got that he's been questioned. And I'm wondering if they're now looking, because I told you all when you were all here, when the police called me live, when Chad called me live after they removed Mike from the case, and I said, why don't you, why don't you start looking at other fucking theories, man? Like, Jesus F, other than they walked out the damn door. So maybe they're starting to look at other theories now that they've run out of plausibility that these kids haven't been found 6 months later after many, 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 many searches, dogs and everything. I hope they get found. I hope they do too. Anyway, so listen, everybody, I thank you for being here. I'm going to go right now. Do you want to see my book cover? Do you want to see my book cover? I'm writing my book. If you're new here, I'm into astrology. I've had my astrology read. I've had my charts read. The fact that I'm in true crime, the fact that I volunteer with the Find Me group when we deal with trafficking and everything is not a mistake because it's all over my chart. Trafficking rings, it's psychic stuff, it's all there. So I started a new book that I'm releasing the first 3 chapters of. I've already written the first 4.5 chapters. It's under a pen name because astrology says for me to write under a pen name. So there's my book cover. Hang on. The Girl in the Red Room. Give me your feedback if you like it. I bought libbymcgregoryearsago.com because I was going to write about my family story, about what my mom did to my dad. And then I just decided after my dad died, thank you, Donna, that I don't want to represent my dad in that way anymore. I'm just done with my biatch mother. If you don't know, she stole my dad's money. She removed me from the will, ignored my power of attorney, knowing he had dementia, and left him to die where they did read him his last rites in Florida. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And he's not going to get any justice for that. And now that he's deceased, he passed away in June. I want to honor him in a better way. And so this is my book. It's about an FBI, Marlo Steele is an FBI agent who tries to arrest a trafficker who has political ties. And instead of being arrested, he is extradited back to Dubai. And she gets a phone call because when they went to arrest him, and his brother, Marlo, the main character, ended up killing and shooting his brother. So as the judge throws the case out and says, we're going to extradite him instead, because of the political ties his dad has in Dubai and in the US. She wants to solve the crime, but she gets a phone call in the middle of the night from the trafficker laughing, saying, you took somebody from me, I'm going to take somebody from you. And this is all chapter 1. And her 6-year-old niece is kidnapped. Despite all the surveillance outside of the home, a week later, she's gone. So Marlo decides to go undercover to Dubai. And this is the story, The Girl in the Red Room. The Girl in the Red Room is the 6-year-old little girl, Lily. I was going to name it the character Lily long before Lily and Jack, but I changed the age to 6 because I want to use Lily and Jack as an inspiration for this story. Because just the case being Canadian and just these 2 kids. And Marlo's sister, Evie, has visions like I get, and she keeps seeing a vision of her in a red room. So there's a little bit of psychic stuff in there, but not a lot, but a little bit. Hence the red room. So yeah, that's my book. The first 3 chapters are going to be offered for free, which is what, a lot of popular indie writers do. And then you upsell from there. So that's going to happen January 10th. The first 3 chapters are going out. I've already written past that. So yeah. So everybody, I really appreciate you being here. I truly could not do true crime without you. Obviously, you need people to watch. But because of my own trauma, those of you who've been with me for a while know it's not been easy for me. Because of my own trauma in the effed up justice system, not even just in my case, in Jim's case, in all the cases we follow in true crime, there's loopholes, there's not enough manpower, there's not enough resources. It's just for missing people cases. It's dire, and the number of people is astronomical, and trafficking is a huge problem too. And we don't often hear the police talking about trafficking. So, anyways, all that to say, I couldn't do it without you. And so I really hope I'll be able to come live tonight. If it's not tonight, it'll be tomorrow, because I won't have a car now for a while, because we can't find some parts. And I need those parts to get it safetied to transfer my license from Ontario, since I just moved to Quebec. And I can't get it safetied and roadworthy until we find the parts. And we cannot find the parts yet. 2 of the parts that I need, if you can imagine. Okay, everybody. So I'll see you, if it's not tonight, tomorrow. And again, I love y'all. I appreciate you being here. If you missed the beginning of the stream, go back, and we'll see you soon. Have a good day.